Well, it's that time again. Let's walk in faith, talk about anime, and grow together. Welcome to Reb's Otaku Talk. Hey Otaku family, welcome to Reb's Otaku Talk Studio Ghibli Fest. I'm your host Reb, and with me are my co-host K2.
Howdy, howdy.
And Raver Mom.
I thought I was the host.
No, I'm stealing it back this week. Though it is awesome to have both of you back at the same time.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I am loving this.
I think it's been over a month.
Yeah.
Yeah. Holiday season's over.
Yes.
So hopefully we can start doing this regularly again. Especially now that we're, next week is the finale.
Yep.
Yeah.
Season 2 will be over next week.
I'm a little sad.
Just a little bit.
Although happy at the same time.
Yeah.
I'll explain why later.
Yeah, babe. You can explain later, babe. Yeah. All right, so let's get back to this intro. This season, we're diving deep into the whimsical, heartfelt worlds of Studio Ghibli, where fantasy meets faith and wonder points us back to the creator. Whether you're a lifelong Ghibli fan or just discovering these animated masterpieces, we're here to explore each story through the lens of Christian values. From the skies of Laputa to the forest of Totoro, we'll uncover powerful themes, spiritual insights, and the beauty of God's truth woven into every frame. So grab your favorite snack, open your heart, and get ready for a journey where faith and fandom soar together. This is your Christ Walk with Otaku Talk. Studio Ghibli Fest starts now. Today's episode, we will boldly go into the world of The Boy and the Heron, looking not just to the movie, but to its creator to learn about what it is to leave a legacy. The Boy and the Heron was made in 2023 and written and directed by Hayao Miyazaki. It follows Mahito, a young boy grappling with grief after the death of his mother during World War II. After moving to the countryside with his father and new stepmother, Mahito struggles to adjust to his new life, feeling isolated and angry. His world begins to shift when he encounters a mysterious gray heron who taunts him and lures him toward an abandoned tower on the estate. Drawn into a strange and dreamlike realm connected to the tower, Mahito enters a fantastical world filled with talking animals, shifting realities, and echoes of both loss and longing. As Mahito journeys deeper into this other world, he confronts his sorrow, guilt, and fear, learning that escapism cannot replace healing. The film blends fantasy and reality to explore themes of grief, legacy, and the difficult transition from childhood innocence to maturity. Ultimately, Mahito must choose whether to remain in a beautifully imagined world or return to the imperfect real one, accepting loss as a part of life. The Boy and the Heron is a reflective and symbolic story about learning to live with pain while embracing hope and responsibility. So guys, I know this is not mine and Raver Mom's first time seeing the movie. Mm-hmm. It's our second time. No, my third one, her second. Mm-hmm. And it was your first time, right?
Yeah, it was my first.
What did you guys think?
I didn't like it.
Okay, K2, what did we not like about it?
It just felt kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
Like, when it started, I'm like, oh, okay, this is going to be cool. It's another World War II kind of period type piece.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I can get into this. Then you see the funky old ladies, like how they're usually drawn. I'm like, okay, so it's not going to be this kind of movie I'm thinking of. It's going to be this kind. It's going to be kind of the more whimsical. Well, wow.
Whimsical.
Whimsical. Side. And then it even takes another turn when you have kind of the spirits. I'm like, oh, okay, he's gonna do battle with the spirits or whatnot to go save the stepmother, and then that doesn't happen either. So I'm like, it's like
K2's like, where's the action?
Exactly.
Yeah, I can understand it. I mean, I know for you, the only awesome part about the entire movie, besides the end, was the tank at the beginning. That
was fun. I like the little bits of the factory, the I mean, I like some of the fantasy aspects when they were in there. The bird was just creepy. I don't know what he thought of when he was drawing that thing. Oh, that was just creepy.
All you knew it was going to be funky whenever the heron went to the window and all of a sudden he had teeth.
Yep.
So, Raver Mom, what'd you think?
Honestly, it's been a while since we've watched it because I know whenever we got the DVD or the Blu-ray or whatever, I haven't seen it since then.
Yeah, no, the last time we watched it was in 2023.
Okay, so I'm mixed. Really, I am. Because I remember obviously the boy. I remember him, and then I remember that there was a beautiful heron, and I remember it being like there was some war aspect, but that's all I remembered. And as I'm watching it this second time, I'm like, wow, this reminds me of the cat movie. Wow. Okay.
The heron returns.
It wasn't, I don't know, like it was all over the place. I got that feeling as well, but I felt like at some points it was drawn out.
Mm.
Like it was very dull, so to speak, and then others it was like boom, 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 boom. You know,
Yeah,
like
they threw too many plots in.
Right.
I felt like.
Yes, and I will tell you because I looked up. I did a little research on it just to kind of get an idea of what other people thought. Because I was thinking, well, maybe it was just me because I kept getting interrupted by the lovely Otaku kids constantly asking me questions. So I'm thinking, well, maybe it's because I'm not like fully 100% giving it my all. And all my complaints, and actually all of what you were saying, K2, were the complaints of a lot of people at how choppy it was, how 1 minute you're in this and you think this is how it's going to the next, to the next, to the next, you know, and it, like you said, there's so many different plots, so many different like timelines, so to speak. It was like, just pick one. You know, I understand it was about grief and that's how grief can be sometimes, but I felt like he could have done something else and it would have been just as fine. If that makes sense. I mean, overall, it was a very beautiful movie. I did notice that you could tell, like, just in the artistry of it, like, and the color scheme, that it was a last kind of sad, you know, grieving kind of loss, you know, like, you could tell that.
Yeah.
Based off, like, just from watching all the other ones, like, you could tell that there was some kind of sadness of emotion that he put into it. But other than that, I mean, I was asking you lots of questions, so because I was so confused.
Well, the questions that you were asking me, I commentaried that to K2 whenever we watched it, because we watched it in the backyard on the big projector screen and kind of did it outdoor theater style.
In the freezing cold weather.
It wasn't too bad.
Well, because you had heaters.
We were under the canopy with the heaters, but I gave him the same context that you asked for. And I looked at him, I was like, I'm telling you this because if you don't know this now, this movie is going to be confusing the majority of the way through. But
see, even little details, like those old ladies. Like, the stepmother could have easily have, quote unquote, introduced them to Mojito and explained what they were there for. Like, that's the grounds. Like, they did that one, Kikito, made the comment about how that was the groundskeeper. You gave them all to the, like, the cigarettes to the groundskeeper.
The yellow yukata.
Yeah. But like that detail could have been there because I was confused about these random little midget women. Where'd they come from? Why are they there? I mean, of course, either one, their family, or two, their servants. But I would have liked to have known that, not tried guessing that, you know? But that could have been like a little detail where the stepmother introduced them. This is blah, blah, blah. they are da da da. They do,
And the only
Yeah.
way, the only hint that they were, servants of the house was after the stepmother disappeared, they kept calling the father master.
Right. Well, they even called,
The kid master.
Mojito, young
yeah,
master.
the young master. And that's why, that obviously you pick up on that, but you're still, 10, 15 minutes go by and it's like, who's this
Who's the
this-
rando?
who's the random women, Like, it made no sense. And then, what was the other question I asked you?
Well, you asked me if the lady was the mom's sister.
Yeah, like,
It's like,
the,
yes,
the
dad,
stepmom,
dad married auntie.
like
Yes.
some kind of background or detail or, like info on that, like.
Yeah, because you go right into it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be your new mother. And, oh, look, I'm
Well,
pregnant.
who is,
Yeah.
and you're like,
Yeah.
who is this woman, and it's just those little details. I think would have been a simple,
Yeah.
Auntie
thing.
Narako is now mummy.
yeah. But I feel like those would have been simple details that could have been easily added, and it would not have taken away from anything.
Yeah, even if they did it at like flashback type deal, because they were already doing a flashback whenever the fire and everything hit, and they could have, did like freeze frame real style just to catch you up, and then bam, here you are.
Well, even when they were driving, or not driving, but the stepmom, the auntie,
Yeah,
and
they were on the
him
peddler
in
cart.
the little cart, they could have had like a little conversation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like I know you're probably, if you ever want to talk about, however, about that,
Yep.
I'm here for you. I know this is probably, something.
Yeah.
Something,
Yeah.
there could have been a million and one things you could have added to assist your viewers. I tell my third graders all the time, every little detail so your readers don't leave questions, leave with questions like, where's the details?
Yeah, well, I
You know?
was telling K2, in this movie, you didn't get the answers until the end. Like, it was one of those things where I'm going to lay this jigsaw puzzle out onto the table, and it's your responsibility to put the pieces in place.
Yeah. And again, I understand a lot of this movie was mainly around the grief.
Yeah.
And grief is all
Chaotic.
jumbled and chaotic, and sometimes the pieces aren't there, and sometimes I do get all of that, and I do get that it was a process for the boy, and and he had to go through this process and to be able to accept the auntie. Like I do get all of that, but I feel like adding those little minor details in the beginning would have made the movie just a little better for the viewers, and it would have probably, it would have been a better end to Miyazaki's legacy than how it was, if that makes sense.
Me, since I've seen it one time more than you and two times more than you, I looked at it more analytical this time through because I knew the story. I knew what happened in the movie. Now it's like I wanna kind of see if I can get into Miyazaki's head in this movie. And the thing that came to me is how he criticized Goro whenever he did the Tales from Earthsea about directing with his emotions. And I'm sorry, but you can see Hayao Miyazaki
You could feel it,
massively
yeah.
directing with his emotions, especially toward the end. And as we get into the episode discussion more in depth, I'll go more in the depth of what I saw, and whenever I'm like, dude, you're laying your whole entire life's issues with your family out on the table for everybody to see with this. But he did the one thing he criticized his son of doing, and he directed all emotional with this movie, and you can just tell that that's what he did.
Well, I mean, and I can understand why though, because of the fact that with it being his end, he's having to grieve the loss of doing it, like
well, this is like
being the person he's been the last 40 years.
something like that. I mean, this was like his second last, because this movie really wasn't going to exist. Whatever he produced before this movie was supposed to be his last. The only reason he came back to do this one was because of his grandson.
Mm-hmm.
And in multiple interviews that he had through the course of creating this movie and promoting this movie, he credited the fact that he was doing it to the birth of his grandchild. So that's the only reason why he basically came out of retirement for creating to make this movie. Which, yeah, it's a good reason to make one.
Yep.
But now you are, I mean, at that point, you can just say, okay, you just had a kid with the son that you've had issues with. You are going into this emotional.
Yeah.
You know, your son just had your grandchild, and now you want to do this extravagant legacy piece. You are all emotional with this Joker.
Yep.
So I think that is where I think he messed up. Because Tales from Earthsea, you can tell Goro's emotion in that, and you can see where his emotions were. And in this movie, you could do the same thing with Daddy.
Yep.
You know? And critically, I can just, Hayao, this is where you messed up. You made an immature mistake. You did this all with emotion. But that's what I thought about the whole deal. I like it. I like the imagery. I like the world that he built. I love the cast.
Yeah.
I mean, the sheer fact that Mark Hamill was great granduncle was really awesome. And so, I liked all of that about it, but it's just, I can't help but to look at it and be like, dude, you were kind of hypocritical when you made this one. Sorry.
It happens.
So, K2, what would you rate this one?
I'm going to give it a 6.
Okay. Raver Mom?
I was actually going to say 6 too.
Okay, I'm right there with you. So, it's 6s all the way around. So, Reb's Otaku Talk gives The Boy and the Heron on all around 6. Now, from a parental standpoint, Raver Mom, what would you say about it?
Honestly, I wouldn't probably let the younger one watch it. I don't know about the older ones either, only because of the fact that this movie could be really confusing. And they would honestly probably sit there and ask more questions than understand what was going on.
So really nothing bad, just
nothing
you don't want to
bad.
sit there and watch a movie and have to
And
talk
have
all the
to
way
explain.
through.
Yeah, I mean, Princess Mononoke, she might be okay. And like I said, even Kid Koopa might be okay. But I feel like Princess Pika might be a little more confused.
Yeah.
Just because of how jumpy the movie is.
Yeah.
But then again, I mean, she might be perfectly fine. I don't see anything wrong with the movie unless you struggle with allowing your children to watch fantasy things.
Yeah.
Like magic,
Well, I mean,
creatures talking, and, like things like that,
I can't really say that I see this as a magic fantasy movie because the power's coming from a meteor. To me, it's almost like sci-fi fantasy. He tried to delve into sci-fi for his last movie. So, I mean, because all the power came from the meteor.
Yeah, I guess. But I'm just saying, if that bothers you, then probably not. But other than that, I mean, I think the only problem that I think kids would have would be the jumpiness of it. But I don't see any other I mean, really any other issues
Yeah.
parentally.
I mean, from a Christian standpoint, I really don't see anything either. I mean, like I said, it was like fantasy sci-fi. It was like it was like Ghibli meets the Dark Crystal almost. You know, not
That's
so
funny because I hate the dog. Never mind.
You know, it's like all this power, you know, of creation and stuff comes from this crystal, you know. Prosperity comes from the crystal. Well, that's almost the whole deal. Power and prosperity and peace and the ability to create this world comes from the meteor, you know. So it's yeah. It's fantasy sci-fi. We'll just leave it that way. So yeah, okay. That. Any other comments about what you thought about this movie?
No.
Other than you don't hate the Dark Crystal.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Moving on.
So in the last season, we discussed a little bit about legacies. But I think it would be kind of cool to touch on the legacies left by different creators and their many worlds that we enjoy so much as the seasons go on. We do like a legacy focus episode. So to kind of kick that off, this season we're going to talk about the legacies left for us by the Miyazaki family. The verse that we're going to be looking at is 2 Timothy chapter 1 verses 3 through 5, where it says, I thank God whom I serve as my ancestors did with a clear conscience. As night and day I constantly remember you in my prayers, recalling your tears. I long to see you so that I may be filled with joy. I am reminded of your sincere faith, which was first lived in your grandmother Lois and your mother Eunice, and I am persuaded now lives in you also. The reason why I selected this verse is because it's talking about the spiritual legacy left through family lineage. It's a heritage type legacy. And you can kind of see that with the Miyazaki boys. I said I would go a little deeper into it. It all started back with Tales from Earthsea, whenever Goro Miyazaki was doing his first movie. And the opportunity to do this movie was given to him by his father. It was probably a bigger project than he should have, gave his blessing for his son to do his first on, but then negatively criticized him, and that kind of put a stain on their relationship. They didn't communicate for quite a few years, after that happened. And Miyazaki made Ponyo, and around that time they made up, but it was still a strained relationship. And at that point, they started trying to work on that father-son relationship. But then whenever Goro, we saw from Up on Poppy Hill, fantastic movie. I even talked to K2 about that whenever we were watching the movie. He agreed on a 9, so it's still 9s across the board.
Good.
From Up on Poppy Hill was a awesome movie. He still directed it with, his emotion, but he did it in such a mature way that it actually made the movie into what it was.
Mm-hmm.
With this movie, Miyazaki was not going to make another movie, but with the birth of his grandson, he decided to make this movie. Now, upon making this movie, about a year or two before this movie was made, Goro made his third movie. And this caused another disagreement between him and his father whenever he did The Witch and the Earwig, and it was all CGI. It was all computer-generated animation, and the elder Miyazaki is against computer generated stuff. It's all hand drawn for him. And that's kind of the legacy of Ghibli altogether.
Yep.
Everything is hand drawn. But that kind of, caused a little bit of tension. But then Goro has a son. And then Miyazaki decides he wants to make one last movie as a legacy made for his grandson. And like I said, he repeated this multiple times in many, many interviews. And this is where, I started seeing the emotion that he was directing The Boy and the Heron with was the end.
Mm-hmm.
When they make their way back to great-granduncle, and he basically gives Mojito a pile of stones that are still a pure energy, and he has to stack them, and he has to restack them like every 2 days or something like that, to create his own world, basically. But then you have the chief parakeet, King Parakeet, who comes in and speed stacks the blocks and starts destroying the world. And I'm like, yeah, dude, you can't say that is not how you feel right now on the legacy that you're leaving behind for your grandson, because of the fact that you basically have this whole thing where you're giving granduncle's giving Mojito a choice to build a certain kind of world. But if he does it with a certain type of feeling or a certain type of outlook, he can destroy that world. And then all of a sudden somebody comes in and rapidly destroys it. And it's like, okay, so what we can take from this is, you are great-granduncle. You are creating this magical world of peace. And then the parakeet would be Goro, because he is now starting to experiment with computer-generated imagery for his movies. And you don't like that. You don't want that to be the direction of your studio. And now you are laying it before your grandson. Choose wisely. Take the red pill or the blue pill. And it's all in the legacy that you want to leave. But instead of him looking at it as your son is, taking the legacy that you gave him and moving that legacy into a new age where computer generated stuff is what is out there now, and it's, what people look for out in the main populace.
Yeah.
And looking at it as he's taking what you taught him to another level and allowing that legacy to be moved on to your grandson, instead of laying a split choice down before them, and it's all in that hereditary legacy, and it's the type of legacy that Hayao wants to leave for his grandson, instead of the legacy that his son is trying to leave for his son. And you see that really heavy in this movie to me. I mean, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It definitely has a lot of emotion in I think, a negative way. And from what I've heard of him, him and his son never really had a good connection.
Yeah, I mean, from all the interviews that I've read, it's, I've yet to see where they're actually getting along.
Yeah.
The negative emotion was spread throughout the entire movie, and I guess that's where a lot of people, to me, didn't really care for it. Not just the fact that it was choppy and everything like that, but it was a very negative movie whenever you actually just sit and watch it all the way through.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of positive to it.
Well, I mean, if you take the grief aspect into it, there's no positive in that.
Yeah, true.
A lot of times people, when they are dealing with grief, they're not sitting there happy-go-lucky unless they're on drugs. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, like, and because sometimes that it makes, grief pushes people to where they need to see like a therapist or something like that, and that needs to prescribe them something to help process, and I understand that.
So legal drugs, not illegal drugs.
Whatever suits your fancy. I'm not promoting anything, because grief is crazy. It makes people do crazy things and stupid things, and but I mean, if you take all of that out, I mean, grief is a mess.
Yeah.
And if that's what Miyazaki was trying to come across in this, which that's kind of honestly how I felt, just because of the fact that I guess you could say I'm still grieving multiple losses that I've had in the past 10 years. And but that is just there's no straight line to the end.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ups and downs. There's a lot of good. There's a lot of bad. There's a lot of crazy talking parakeets and, pelicans and weird looking herons with people teeth. I mean, that's how grief is. If you really think about it, it's very choppy. It's very back and forth, and confused. Lots of confusion. So it's if Miyazaki was trying to get across about how he's trying to process something like that, I can understand why the movie was the way it was. So,
well, I also, I'm talking a lot of the negative out, but the positive did come in the end, because it came in the it came in the almost like he was trying to. A lot of people say it was an apology to his grandson, and possibly even his son again, because of all the disapproving and stuff that he did throughout his son's career. But the fact that he looked great grand uncle, that is so confusing to say over and over again, looked at Mojito and said, "The choice is yours." It's almost like he was taking the time to tell his grandson, even though the disagreements are all there, between me and your dad, the choice of which way you want to go is your choice.
Mm-hmm.
Take the path of the legacy that you want. Because, disagreements like that within families a lot of times can either eventually bring something new and exciting out, or it can completely collapse, relationships, and completely and totally redirect people away from, that central heritage that you want to leave behind,
Mm-hmm. I will tell you, though, after watching it the second time and kind of seeing and feeling the fact of how emotional he was with it, or the fact that he directed it with his emotions, honestly probably was a big deal for him.
Yeah.
Because because if you think about it, not just in Japanese culture from long time ago, but men in general, and obviously I'm the lesser of the two genders right now because there's two of you and one of me. But because I feel like I can speak on it just because I was raised with it. Men are not the male species is not taught to be emotional.
Yeah.
And in some cultures, it is frowned upon, like it's a horrible thing if a man shows any kind of emotion that is seen feminine.
Yeah,
like
seen as a sign of
crying
weakness.
or sadness or grieving or so for him to do this movie for his grandson, to me, is a very big deal.
Yeah, and it kind of gives you an actual respect for the movie.
Yeah.
Right. Like I'm not saying I don't like when I give it a 6 personally, it's literally because of how choppy it was.
Yeah.
I feel like if it was a little less choppy, a little more detail, it would have been a phenomenal movie.
Yeah.
But I 100% understand why it was the way it was.
Yeah.
And I understand what he put into it and everything like that. And I have extreme respect for the reasons that he did it.
Yeah.
Just because coming from, I mean, I feel like his background,
Yeah.
this would have been like that hump that he needed to get over.
Mm-hmm.
And whether his son or grandson also joins him over there and that on the other side of the hump
Yeah.
is up to them. But it's like he's telling them, I'm ready. If you're ready, I'm ready. You know, we can move on from this. Because when something's ingrained in you to the core, it's not easy to get over.
No.
You know, it's not easy to show that emotion. And the only way that Miyazaki could do that to his family, to his boys, basically, is through this.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, looking at it through that emotion, you kind of understand the movie a little bit better.
Yeah.
Because it's looking at it from an outside perspective, it's not that great.
No.
Looking at it from a understanding perspective, it's like, okay, I get it. I see why this is here and why this is here and why you did it this way and why not all this stuff was at the beginning but it's at the end, and that's because we are taking the journey of your emotions and your thoughts with you.
Yeah.
And like you said, grief is messy and chaotic, and that's the way it looks. You got no answers, even though they're right in front of your face, until you get to the end. And, you know, you can't really, I mean, you see the artwork and everything that's put into it, and it's gorgeous.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
some of the best artwork that I've seen in the Ghibli movies, especially still being all hand-drawn.
Yeah.
And, you know, you see the physical legacy that he's trying to leave behind. But to give the legacy of a choice or the legacy of understanding at the end is huge.
Yeah.
You know, and I completely agree with that.
And I will tell you the aspect of Mahito's father, where he basically quit working to look for his son, and then that moment where they were hiding from the parakeets, and the fact that his dad, Mahito's dad, was running towards the door. And I mean, just in that little clip of like that had a lot of emotion in it just right there. And I feel like him adding that was like showing that he really and truly deep down cared for his kids.
Yeah.
You know, and cared for his family in general and everything. And so, I mean, even those little even details like that, like he's trying to show them the best way that he can that he loves them.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, it's like saying, I'm going to fight for this. I'm going to, I'm going to chase after it.
Family means everything to him, yeah.
You know, and sometimes it takes coming face to face with your mortality to get it. And with him having a grandson, that's probably what did it.
Yeah.
Was I've only got so much time to rekindle the relationship with my kid so that I can help feed into my grandchild, you know. But, you know, I think in that aspect, trying to leave a legacy can also be a messy thing. You know, whenever I try to think of what legacy, you know, me and Raver Mom are leaving for our kids, it's like, wow, we got a messy legacy that we're leaving. But the legacy that we want them to remember, how we get past the hardship, the spiritual legacy that we leave behind. You know, nobody's life is perfect, but the legacy that we want to leave behind is not one of chaos and hardship and negativity. We want to leave the legacy behind that leads them in a direction that's going to help them grow and to, you know, bloom into the people that they are to become. You know, and a spiritual legacy is a very big thing for us. We want them to, you know, grow to be, you know, great men and women of God. And but we also want them to be themselves and to know that they can use their quirky, odd talents to spread God's word and to do His ministry. And, you know, the type of legacy we want to leave them is to be fearless in their faith and just do what God laid on your heart to do. Because if we didn't do that, we definitely wouldn't be doing this.
Nope.
So, I mean,
Talking in front of third graders is enough for me.
the legacy I'm going to leave for you is multiplication and the beginning of long division.
Oh, I'm not ready for that one.
Context clues! Context clues!
I feel like you've been in my classroom this last week.
It's because that's what I tell our kids constantly when they're home.
I'm not kidding. I legit was teaching about context clues this last week.
Oh, it's like the hardest thing in the world.
Oh my goodness.
For people to apprehend context now.
Anyway, I do want to say that I am kind of. Oh my gosh, I had the word in my head. I had another thought and it came and ricocheted off.
He ricocheted off the first thought, and now they're both gone.
Not interesting. Oh my gosh. I feel like the verses you picked was kind of a good fit just because of the fact that these verses are it came out of the letters to Timothy, and he is literally basically praying while he's in prison, thanking God for Timothy, because Paul never had, as far as I know in my knowledge, he never had kids. Yeah. And Timothy was his apprentice. So he literally gave everything he had to Timothy. And there were multiple occasions where they had separated for different reasons. Not like there weren't all bad reasons why they weren't together all the time. A lot of times Timothy would go off on a mission while Paul was on a different mission or whatever. But I find it interesting that something I was telling my grandmother yesterday is that God knows what you need exactly when you need it.
Yeah.
And Paul, he knew that Paul would need somebody that would take everything that Paul had learned from the time of his conversion to the time that he died, that would learn from him and take Paul's new legacy to the next level. And he was thanking God, that Timothy not only had faith, but had that faith through his family lineage.
Yeah. From
his mom and his grandmother. And it's that faith lineage, that he has, that gave him that strong foundation for Paul to be able to basically pour into him. And I find Paul's becoming one of my favorites in the Bible just because of the fact that he's currently in prison right now for something that technically he didn't break any laws for. They just don't like him. But in the midst of all of that, he is still praying and praising and thanking God for everything that he's been through, and that he was able to pass on the knowledge and the information to this new person. And it's kind of a reminder with the movie along with this that life is messy.
Yeah.
And even in the messiness, we can still thank God for that strong foundation and that legacy that we have been able to get from him. And our legacies, and I understand you were saying our legacy is messy, but honestly, if you think about it, if it wasn't for the messiness, we wouldn't be where we are. Not just like on this podcast, not just the fact that you met K2, but I feel like the messiness is what fine tunes us, and there had to be something in Miyazaki's world. Like you said, it could have been the fact that his son's wife was about to have a baby. He's going to have a grandson. There was a turning point. It was that in that messiness that there was some kind of light that showed through. And if without the messiness, we can't learn, and we can't learn and we can't be thankful. I feel like if we didn't go through the messiness, then we wouldn't have opportunities to realize how blessed we are.
This deep.
Sorry.
I told you, you are the deep thought of season 2.
It's been a while.
Any thoughts, K2?
Nope.
No? You sure?
Yep.
Our mess brought you into the house.
That's not what I meant. That is not what I meant.
I know, I'm just playing around.
But think about it for a second. If I didn't push you to fill out that application for the school,
to upgrade to a better job,
right? You wouldn't have met him.
No.
And honestly, this podcast probably wouldn't be happening.
No.
So it's your fault, K2.
It's all your fault. I said, man, K2, you're into the same stuff I am. Yep. I want to do this podcast. I should get you involved whenever we actually start it.
And then shortly after that, you left. So
yeah, and then what? 2.5, 3 weeks later, we started it.
Oh my goodness.
Any other thoughts?
No.
All right, cool. The story of the 3 generations of the Miyazaki family reflects both tension and continuity. Much like the faith lineage described in 2 Timothy chapter 1 verses 3 through 5, Hayao Miyazaki, the master filmmaker, passed down a deep reverence for craft, imagination, and storytelling, even though his relationship with his son Goro was often strained. Hayao doubted Goro's readiness as a director, and their differing artistic philosophies created distance between them. Yet, as Paul recalls the sincere faith that lived first in Timothy's grandmother Lois and his mother Eunice, we are reminded that what is passed down is not always smooth or simple. It is shaped through struggle, correction, and perseverance. The birth of Hayao's grandson became a turning point, softening the relationship between father and son and reframing Hayao's understanding of legacy. Inspired by this next generation, Hayao returned to filmmaking with the desire to leave behind something meaningful, not just for audiences, but for his family. In this way, the Miyazaki legacy mirrors Paul's words, a heritage that moves throughout generations, not perfectly, but purposefully. What began with Hayao's vision wrestled through Goro's journey and found new hope in a grandson shows how legacy, whether faith or creativity, is ultimately about what endures, grows, and is entrusted to those who come after.
Okay. Here's a question.
Okay, what's your question?
If you were spirited away to the lower world or the meteorite world or whatever, which creature would you likely be?
I honestly still think I'd be human.
No, you gotta pick a creature. You can't be human. You have to pick a creature.
Well, seeing as gray herons always lie, I wouldn't be one of those.
I'd want to be a noble pelican.
A noble pelican.
One of the pelicans.
Okay.
I wouldn't really call those noble. I mean, they try to eat everything.
Well, no, remember the big one that got with that mojito had to bury? He called themselves. He said they were noble pelicans.
No, the herring said that.
Oh, well, whatever. One of the birds said it.
I mean, the creatures that I remember is the pelican, the parakeets, and the heron.
And then the wah.
Oh, the lights.
The little bubble people. Or the wah.
Yeah.
Whatever that was. Those white.
The reincarnated souls, essentially. That's what I got that they were.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if I had to pick out of those 4, I'd be a gray heron. I'd be the troll man inside of the bird.
Oh my goodness. What about you, K2?
I guess I'll go with one of those little spirit things.
You'd be a ghost orb.
Nice.
What would you be, Raver Mom?
I said a pelican.
Oh, the noble pelican.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, here's another one. If Grand Uncle offered you the chance to build a world out of 13 wooden blocks, what kind of world would you create? And would it have humans in it? Yeah, babe.
Yeah, babe. Well, babe, I think that I would create a world that's dominated by cats. No.
That coming out of you is a surprise, honestly.
It sounds so wrong because I don't
You
care
hate
for
cats.
I think I would probably do more of a medieval type world, just not with all the plague and death and junk.
Okay.
You know, castles, dragons.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that kind of deal.
Cool.
Throw magic in there or no? Keep it.
Yeah, why not? I mean, it's alien magic coming from a meteor. Let's go for it. Yes, and Merlin would have to be there. There'd be an old dude with a long white beard and a pointy hat. What kind of world would you build, K2?
I don't know. I think I would just leave the world as is.
He'd fill it with tanks.
Yeah, why not?
He'd
Girls
create
Zoom
the
Panzer.
world- He'd create the world of Girls Zoom Panzer.
Exactly.
Yeah. Dude, I would totally go to that world.
Panzervore!
K2, me and you, we gonna be the world bosses. Yes. I love it. Oh my goodness gracious.
So both of you guys would build Girls und Panzer.
I think that would be kind of cool. Yep.
Okay.
I agree.
All right. So we're going to do something a little different. We are going to play Libby, the Studio Ghibli edition. Now, I know that we've played Libby. Have you ever played Libby before?
I think once. It sounds familiar, but I haven't done it in a while.
Okay, quick rundown of the game. I've got this done in 7 rounds, but I'm basically going to give clues to the movie. It's going to start out a little harder at the beginning, and I'm going to give you 3 clues in total. The first one's going to be a little hard, a little vague, but as I go through the clues, they're going to get more obvious.
Okay.
And the first one of you to guess what Ghibli movie it is from those 3 clues gets the point.
And these are ones we've watched?
Yes, they are ones that we have done this
I
season.
don't remember any of the names from practically any of them.
So if
that's
we
great.
say the raccoon one, it'll work.
If you guys do not remember what Pom Poko is, we're going to have issues. My most hated movie of this season. So, to give an example, If I were to say this isn't a Ghibli movie, this is just an anime. My first hint would be a boy goes on a journey.
Pokemon.
Wow, you guys got it on the first hint. But you just think about how many
How many there
animes
are.
a boy goes on a journey, because you have Pokemon, you have Sword Art Online, you have Attack on Titan, if you look at it in a weird way, and a lot of Ghibli movies. So I mean, there's a lot of different stuff that it could be. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But basically, I give you 3 going hints like that. If you can't guess it with the first one, we go to the second one. If you can't guess it with the second one, we go to the third, and then you get the movie. All right? So, round 1. K2, Raver Mom. I'm making the point grid. Round 1. First clue. A middle school girl discovers a name repeatedly appearing on library cards.
Oh my goodness, this is the one that I didn't like.
The Cat Returns?
Nope.
Whisper of the Heart?
Yes.
Seriously?
The first one. Yep. Because you didn't like it, you automatically knew it was.
Honestly, I thought it was The Cat Returns,
Yeah.
and then when he said no, I'm like, okay, well, it's the other one.
Yep.
All right. Round 2. Clue 1. The main character is cursed and begins a journey to find peace.
Howl's Moving Castle?
No. Oh crap! I know. I forget the name of it. The one with the. How do I say it without giving it away?
You can't.
I know.
You want me to go to the next clue so you can...
No, because I know it. I just can't think of the freaking name.
Is it The Cat Returns?
No, Princess Mononoke.
Princess Mononoke.
Mononoke,
yes.
yeah.
Yep, that's the one.
Good job.
Thank you.
I wasn't anywhere near that, so you would have gotten it.
All right. Round 3, clue 1. A young girl enters a world where names hold great power.
Spirited Away.
Jeez. Yes. I'm not going to go anywhere past the first clues, am I? You guys paid attention more than you thought you did. All right. Round 4, clue 1. I don't know if I want to do this one. A young witch.
Kiki's Delivery Service.
I didn't even finish the whole clue just because of the fact that she's going to get it. Okay. Round 5, clue 1. This film uses a simple, almost sketch-like art style to tell its story.
The Yamadas? My Neighbor Yamadas?
Yes. You really don't remember
No.
any movies from this season, do you? Yeah, I don't know if I want to do this one either. Round 6. Clue number 1. Shape-shifting creatures try to... Yes.
Good job, K2.
Okay, this is the final round. Round 7. Clue 1. A song, not a battle, marks the turning point of the story.
A what?
A song, not a battle, marks the turning point of the story. The nice thing about this clue is it can be multiple movies. Finally.
That was an evil laugh, Red.
Because I can finally play around.
A song marks the turning point.
Yeah, babe. The song. Babadoo.
Is it The Cat Returns?
No.
Oh my lord, I cannot wait for the end of the next episode.
Yes, because in the finale, I'm going to talk like this the whole time.
Raver Mom may not be present. A song.
You ready for the second clue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
True names and dragons are deeply connected.
Tales from Earthsea.
Yep. And Raver Mom wins.
And the only reason I know that is because of the dragon thing.
Our first game of Libby is won by Raver Mom. All right.
Woot woot.
So before we get to the close, next week is a very big deal. That is the final episode, the finale of season 2.
Sad face.
Yes, it is kind of sad. We're going to move away from the world of Studio Ghibli onto something new.
Oh, that's not why I'm sad, but okay.
Why are you sad?
Because it's the end of season 2. That's like a big deal.
That is a big deal. And we have so many like surprising victories, you know, in this season. I mean, this has been a crazy first year. I mean, we are literally going to be looking back on a year in this finale, as well as the past 6 months of this season. But this year's been a crazy ride.
Yeah.
So, I mean, next week we're going to, you know, play games. We're going to talk about our favorite and least favorite episodes. We're going to do our top 5 favorites, and then we're going to vote for our worst. You know, and, you know, we're going to have fun next week doing this, but it is I don't know, I'm a little heartbroken for it. That I can no longer talk like the King Cat. I mean, what are you guys looking forward to in the finale?
You no longer talking like the King Cat.
I'm going to miss that.
So both of you, it's no longer talking like King Cat for completely different reasons. It's alright, K2. I'm going to have to secretly add a King Cat intro for you into all of the other episodes without her.
I don't like it that much.
Thanks, K2.
Introducing our co-host K2 and Raver Mom.
I'm really trying to hold it together over here.
From laughing or what?
From walking out or throwing something.
Honestly, his voice almost reminds me of Wolfman Jack.
Yep.
But yes, now next week we are going to be doing the final episode. It's going to be our finale, and I mean, with that is also coming a lot of new stuff that we'll talk about next week. A lot of plans that have been made that just haven't been put into action yet. But after our finale, they will be, and kind of excited to announce some of that. So yeah, guys, just stay tuned, and our next episode will be a fun and exciting one.
And after the finale, there is 2 weeks of no episodes.
Yep.
Yes, and in those 2 weeks, you know, that stuff that I was talking about, you know, that we're going to announce next week will happen. So I'm excited. It's going to be cool.
I can tell you about to jump out of that seat.
Yes. Because it's fun. It's fun stuff I get to do. So in closing, let us remember 2 Timothy chapter 1 verses 3 through 5. I thank God, whom I serve, as my ancestors did, with a clear conscience, as night and day I constantly remember you in my prayers. Recalling your tears, I long to see you, so that I may be filled with joy. I am reminded of your sincere faith, which first lived in your grandmother Lois and your mother Eunice, and I am persuaded now lives in you. Let us close in prayer. Father God, I thank you for giving us life on this earth. I thank you for giving us a purpose on this earth. And God, I thank you for giving us the ability and the responsibility of leaving a legacy, not just for the people around us, not just for your church, but for our families. A heritage that can move them forward and beyond things that we never thought could be imaginable. And God, I ask that you open our eyes to see you and the wonder and the lessons and the beauty that's all around us, even in the worlds created by artists and animators. And I pray that you let our passion for anime draw us closer to your truth. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 Well, thanks for hanging out for us on Reb's Otaku Talk Studio Ghibli Fest. Make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, and don't forget to like and follow us on Facebook at Reb's Otaku Talkers and on X at Reb's Otaku Talk. We'd love to hear from you, so drop a comment, leave a review, and share your favorite God and anime moments with the community. Also, don't forget to check out Reb's Otaku Shop to grab some awesome merch, and don't miss out on a bag of Reb's Conco Heat Coffee. The link is in the description below. Until next time, keep your anime collection strong and your faith stronger. See you later, guys.
Take care, all.
Bye.
It up. Listener mail and fan debates. We love the art the Lord creates. From Studio Ghibli to Naruto, God speaks in ways you didn't know. Stories rise like rising sun. We break them down one by one. Chew, this ain't just hype, it's revelation. Anime with holy inspiration. Otaku life with transformation. Faith and fandom, no limitation. It's Ribs! Otaku Talk! From JoJo's post to Spirit Lead, we laugh, reflect, and plant that seed. It's Ribs! Otaku Talk! So hit that play, don't walk away. Let's geek and grow in Jesus' way. OTAKU, talking truth in all we do. Revs crew, rolling through. Faith meets fandom just for you.
Otaku.